Hello, I hope you've had a good day. Grandma is going to see if I can finish recording chapter 4 today. If we remember, Mafatu has finished his canoe and he has taken it out to the lagoon to try it out. And we'll continue. How fantastic was that undersea world! The boy saw branching staghorn corals as large as trees, through which jellyfishes floated like a film of fog. He saw shoals of tiny mullet, miniature arrowheads, the whole school scarcely larger than a child's hand. A conger eel drew its ugly head back within a shadowy cavern. Here beside the wall of reef, Mafatu's bamboo fish trap hung suspended. Before he returned to shore, he would empty the trap. It had been undisturbed since the tiger shark was killed, and each day he had yielded up a good supply of mullet or crayfish or lobsters. Here the wall of living coral descended to the lagoon floor. Its sides were pierced with caves of darkness, whose mystery the boy felt no desire to explore. Far below, perhaps 40 feet, the sandy floor of the lagoon was clear and green in the dappled light. A parrotfish emerged from the gloom, nibbled at Mafatu's bait, then vanished. Aye, these fish must be well fed. My piece of crab meat does not tempt them. The boy decided to give it up and content himself with the fish in the bamboo trap. He leaned over the gunwale and pulled it up out of the water. Through the openings in the cage, he could see 3 lobsters, blue-green and fat. What luck! But as he dragged the heavy, wet trap over the gunwale, the fiber cord that fastened his knife about his neck caught on an end of bamboo. The trap slipped, the cord snapped, the knife fell into the water. With dismay, the boy watched it descend. It spiraled rapidly, catching the sunlight as it dropped down, down to the sandy bottom. And there it lay, just under the edge of a branching staghorn. Mafatu eyed it uncertainly. His knife, the knife he had labored so hard to shape. He knew what he ought to do. He should dive and retrieve it. To make another knife so fine would take days. Without it, he was seriously handicapped. He must get his knife. But the reef wall looked dark and forbidding in the fading light. Its black holes were the home of the giant feke, the octopus. The boy drew back in sudden panic. He had never dived as deep as this. It might even be deeper than he thought, for the clarity of the water confused all scale of distance. The knife looked so very near, and yet there it lay, gleaming palely. The boy gazed down at it with longing. He remembered the morning he had found the whale's skeleton, the first one he had ever seen. Surely Maui, god of the fishermen, had sent the whale there to die for Mafatu's use. The long hours that had gone into the making of the knife. It had saved Yuri's life too. And now Yuri, in the bow of the canoe, was looking at his master with eyes so puzzled and true. Mafatu drew a deep breath. How could he abandon his knife? Would Maui think him a coward? The thought chilled him. Was he still Mafatu, the boy who was afraid? He leaped to his feet, gave a brave hitch to his pareu. Then he was overside in the water. He clung for a moment to the gunwale, breathing deeply, inhaling, then releasing the air in a long-drawn whistle. He prepared his lungs for the pressure of the depths. Many times he had seen the pearl divers do it. In the canoe lay a coral weight fastened to a length of sennit. Mafatu took this weight and held the cord in his toes. With a final deep breath, he descended, feet first, allowing the weight to pull him downward. At about 20 feet, he released the weight, turned over, and swam for the bottom. Here, the water was cool and green. The sunlight filtered from above in long oblique bands. Painted fishes fled before him. He saw a giant pahua, a clamshell, 5 feet across and taller than he, its open lips waiting to snap shut upon fish or man. Green fronds waved gently as if in some submarine wind. A shadow moved above the boy's head, and he glanced upward in alarm. Only a sand shark cruising harmlessly. An eel, like a cold waving ribbon, touched his leg and was gone. The knife, there it lay. How sharp and bright it looked. Now the boy's hands were upon it. He seized it and sprang upward toward the light. In that second, a whiplash shot out from under a cavern at his back. A lash like a length of rubber hose. The boy caught the flash of vacuum cups that lined its under surface. Panic stabbed him. The feke, the octopus. Another lash whipped forth and encircled his waist. It drew taut. Then the octopus came forth from its den to face and kill its prey. Mafatu saw a purplish globe of body, eyes baleful and fixed as fate, a parrot mouth, cruel and beaked, that worked and wobbled. Another whiplash encircled the boy's leg. The knife, desperately, Mafatu stabbed for one of the eyes. Then darkness clouded the water as the octopus siphoned out his venom. There, in submarine gloom, a boy fought for his life with the most dreaded monster of the deep. He could feel the sucking pressure of those terrible tentacles. His wind was almost gone. Blindly, Mafatu stabbed again, this time for the other eye. The blow, so wildly driven, went true. The terrible grip relaxed, slackened. The tentacles grew limp. Then Mafatu was springing upward, drawn up toward light and air and life. When he reached the canoe, he had hardly enough strength to cling to the gunwale. But cling he did, his breath coming in tearing gasps. Yuri, beside himself, dashed from one end of the canoe to the other, crying piteously. Slowly, strength returned to the boy's limbs, warmth to his chilled soul. He dragged himself into the canoe and collapsed on the floor. He lay there as in a trance for what seemed an eternity. He survived getting attacked by the octopus. That's good. Now you can sleep peacefully tonight. Remember, Grandma loves you.